everyone. Episode 26 of the Mid-Geek Crisis is here. My name is Joe.
Pedro, Cautious Online.
Hey, guys. So here we are, the week of Endgame, right? Endgame, is that what we're calling it? Endgame? Yeah.
Is it Endgame? Yeah, sure. Endgame.
End Zone? No.
No, not Endgame. Well, no, I don't want to talk about football. No.
Yeah. Not yet. We'll talk about it. We got a couple more months of reprieve. Yeah. But yeah, guys, this is the end of what is now the 22 movie run of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is officially the end, I think, as they're.
Is it old enough to be drafted? Is it 18 years of movies?
Oh my God, not yet.
16, 17 years? How many years is this? When is the
10.
first Iron Man?
10.
Yes, all right.
10. So yeah, spoilers are out there, folks. So keep your ears closed, your eyes closed
Unless you don't care.
The sadist over here he doesn't care.
The heroes win, everybody. The heroes win.
Yeah.
That's a spoiler for you.
God damn it. Spoilers. It ends right. Ant-Man goes up Thanos' butt. That was confirmed, right?
I hate that meme so much.
And so do I.
It's like an 11-year-old made a joke about it, and now it's like a thing. And every time I turn on the page, I'm like, oh, come on! What is this? This is not even clever.
Did you read the science article that was like it wouldn't happen? He would shoot out like a tube of toothpaste.
Who would? Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Why would he shoot out?
Because the rapid expansion wouldn't be fast enough, and he was just like,
oh, I see. He can still hold on to stuff on his way out, right? We're like,
oh man.
Okay, you know what? It's a stupid meme.
You got enjoy it. Yeah, there you go. See, that's exactly why it matters. What matters. But yeah, red carpet was last night. There was some good pictures. A lot of fans. A lot of people that I follow on YouTube and Instagram and whatnot. They got red carpet invites for being cosplayers, which was kind of cool. So I saw a lot of pictures of them posting pictures with the big guys. Chris. All the Chris's were there and took pictures with them. And
it's like 6 Infinity Gems.
Oh yeah. Well, who was it? Captain
Scarlett Johansson
and Brie Larson both were wearing the Infinity Stones all on their arms, which was
actually a pretty
cool. Yeah, it was a pretty cool looking assortment. I saw that. So that was.
I'd like to see that on my lovely partner's hand there.
That's nice. Yeah. I was like,
ooh, big and chunky. That's nice.
Yeah. It was nice. Yeah, I don't know what to talk about that other than I'm excited. I've got tickets for Thursday night. I'll be there at 7:15. We were able to score some tickets, so I'm making it a date night. I have not seen Ant-Man and Wasp. That's the only one I never got to see.
I don't think you're going to miss much. I mean, it doesn't really... I don't know that Ant-Man ties in all that perfectly into the rest of the universe. Like, it just doesn't...
Well, isn't that's the joke of him, right? Like, he's almost like the guy that's like, hey, I'm here, guys. Like, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, that guy.
But he's like one of the founding members of the Avengers, like in the comic books.
Well, I mean, not that version, not Scott Lang, but the other one.
I know, but it's still a little bit disrespectful, right? Like...
Yeah.
But yes, anyway, well, how does it end? Ant-Man and Wasp, I think he gets stuck.
He gets stuck in like the microverse or whatever.
The microverse, yeah, and the other three
everyone disappears.
Yeah, everyone else disappears. So
we don't know how he gets out of that microverse.
His comic books. It's magic. Whatever comic book magic occurs, he gets out. Right. Or maybe when the snap, I don't know. Whatever, he gets out. Somebody finds the machine and he gets out.
Yeah. So what's your prediction on this? I'd like to hear what your prediction on an Endgame, other than all the heroes win. Like, who are the characters that won't be back? Who do you think will be dead? Who do you think are the ones that Because
everybody's going to be dead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. Let's look at it in a logistic way. These characters have been around for 22 years.
Sure.
You've got contracts that aren't being renewed. So the way that they're doing it is they're killing some of these characters off so that they have, I mean, they can come back, right? They're comic book characters, but...
Yeah, everything's going to get rebooted. Like that.
Think so? You think that's how it works?
Yeah,
So
brand new Captain America, brand new Iron Man, brand new all new guys. I mean, this is the joy of an Infinity Gauntlet, right? I mean, if you read the miniseries, that's exactly what they did, right? What's her Gamora? Yeah, Gamora gets the not Gamora, the other one. The other's
Nebula.
Nebula gets the gauntlet and snaps her fingers and becomes a goddess herself and undoes everything Thanos did. Everything Thanos did. The only trick here is that the gauntlet was destroyed, so I assume there's going to be like an hour and a half quest for the gauntlet.
Remember, it is a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, no, it's going to be. This is my frustration with these films, man. Why are they marathons?
I'm okay
I almost wish they made it a trilogy and an hour and a half each, and I'd wait 2 summers.
No.
Okay, I don't need 3 hours.
I need 3 hours.
You need 3 hours, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed I'm an extended edition of Lord of the Rings type of guy. I got to watch all 3 hours and 15 minutes of each version of the movie. Love it.
I think the difference between Lord of the Rings for me and these movies is that the fight scenes, they just go on for too long, and they happen too often in these films. For the most of them, I mean, by the end of Avengers Endgame, I'm the first one, whatever it is, waiting for it to end.
Infinity War?
Yeah. I mean, on a third or fourth viewing, I'm like, I'm ready for this to be over. And you look at Thor Ragnarok, and that was a lean 2 hours, right? That was a lean and perfect 2 hours. Just the right amount of combat, just the right amount of dialogue.
I agree with you on a lot of aspects of that. It's just, this is the end, right? This is the one where we get everybody. I mean, we're going to get that Avengers Assemble moment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's gonna be. I don't need 3 hours for that though. Make it faster. We watched already like 150 billion hours. Just give me a nice 2 hour ending.
44.
A nice time. There's gonna be a lot of floof. That's my prediction. There's gonna be
think so? I think it's 3 hours.
It's gonna be an hour where I'm gonna be like, why is this? Why
I don't think so. I think it's 3 hours
of the casino scene from Star Wars.
Yeah. There you go.
It's going to be an hour
for you. That's the cut I'm sending you. I'm going to send you a copy, and it's just going to be like the beginning of. I'm going to splice in clips of like Infinity Wars, and then like they're going to show Captain America walking into a room. And the next scene is like when the camera flips, it's the casino scene.
Oh, come on! No.
But I'm going to deep fake everybody with like Thor and Iron Man, like just change their faces.
It should be interesting. I mean, at the very least, I'd be curious. I'm really excited to see how they write themselves out of this.
So all the reviews that I've read have been spoiler free. They've been really lean in what they've been talking about. They've said it's great, it's fantastic, it's perfect culmination. Of course, a lot of these are fans that went day one, so mileage may vary on what you believe. But if you're a big fan of this, if you're a fan of the franchise as it is now, from what I've read, is none of this disappoints. So that's good. I think that's the best review you can give. Is if you're a fan of all the other 22 movies and you're really jonesing for.
Who the hell could be a fan of 22 movies? Like, you gotta be. Some of them have to be bad.
Oh well, no, absolutely. There's tons of bad ones. I think there's tons of bad ones. They're not all winners, but you have 22 movies that were all in all tied up in a bow. They're not a bad, like the franchise. The entire Marvel franchise is a fantastic franchise.
Do you think
even stinkers? Even stinkers have pretty good.
The new launch?
Yes.
In the movie, that's why it's 3 hours.
Yes, it's 3 hours. You're gonna have 45 minutes to an hour of getting these characters together.
They were already together. They ended the
not
last
all of them. No.
Oh, except for Iron Man. Who cares about him?
But I mean, if you've seen any of the trailers, which if you haven't, have you?
No.
So we know. I mean, like I said, the TV spots and whatnot show Iron Man with the rest of the group already. So.
That's good. That's the hour. That's where I'm gonna be like, what is this floof?
That's the bold choice that they made by telling you that this is what happens before it happens. Like, they could have skipped any of that and not shown Tony Stark in any of those clips and been like, okay, so maybe they're gonna go out and search for Tony, but then they show all of them together with Tony leaving Earth. So it looks like, from my guessing is you've got a group of heroes kind of assembling, figuring out how to do this, whatever, and then Captain Marvel shows up and she's like, well, I can travel through space or whatever. And then Iron Man finally makes it back to Earth, or maybe she saves him from space and brings him back, and then they build a ship that can actually go out to.
It's Rocket, right? Rocket's still around.
Rocket. Yeah, Rocket's still around. So yeah, so we'll figure it out. I mean,
so like one half of the Guardians figure out how to get him back. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the engineer of the Guardians, right? I mean, the dude can
build a big gun.
Yeah, build a big gun. Yeah, no. From what I'm seeing, the ship that they leave looks like the Ravager, the same ship that they use in Guardians,
sure.
But it's not the same color. It's like a bluish dark gray, like a Avenger color, like so. I'm
excited to see it. Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I mean, I'm not going to see it the opening weekend because that's not what I do. I'll see it a couple weeks from now. It's not important to me.
Where's the hype, man? What is important to you? What is important to Cautious?
What is important to me? Nothing at all. I have nothing but disdain for everything all the time. That's not true. I just don't. How you say? I don't get hyped for being first. I don't think there's any importance to it.
For me, it has nothing to do with being first to go see it. It's just A, I don't want to spoil anything, and B, I just want to fucking see it. If I know it's out there, why do I want to wait any longer?
See, I will wait for 2 marshmallows. You eat your marshmallow right away, right? But
I'll go back and get another marshmallow, and then I'll take your marshmallow.
You might not have any marshmallow.
You know what? And then I'm going to tell you how good the marshmallow is. And then I'm going to eat it in front of you.
Enjoy it, dude. And I'm going to sit there and be like, I don't fucking care. I didn't want the marshmallow anyway. Like
I know, and then I take it out of your hands. Just slap it.
Why would you take it out of my hands?
Because you don't deserve the marshmallow.
Because I'm not lighting up.
That's right.
You get easily because I'm not there, right? Think of it that way. I don't like.
You know what sucks is when I was there, I would drag you to these movies.
So much better now for me, though.
No. I need to get closer to you so I can drag you out there.
Like Deadpool 2 with Adam, like 8 weeks after it came out.
Oh, Jesus, God.
Adam was like, I haven't seen it yet. I'm like, really? Let's go. Theater's going to be empty. It's going to be dope.
God, dude, you watched it probably on the smallest theater with like...
We went to the movie tavern and we had beers. So we
okay, that's fair.
But in an empty theater, no one was there. It was fantastic. Got day drunk. So it sucked.
Like
it was a matinee.
Like what is it? You once used the best analogy for what is it? Was it like a divorcee dad picking up their kid and taking him to Taco Bell? What is it? You use that?
Oh, dude, no, that's the saddest thing,
right? Like, just like, hey, kiddo, I'm here to pick you up. We're gonna go have Taco Bell. Then you go inside to eat at a Taco Bell, and everything's that retro 80s like furniture that hasn't been changed or updated in like 35 years. But you're sitting there eating, and you go to get a packet of salsa, and you got that one salsa that's already punctured at the bottom of the.
And he like awkwardly flirts with the like cashier, and you're like, Dad, oh no, this is too much.
That's what day drinking reminds me of.
Do it at Deadpool.
Yeah.
If there's a movie that they drink at, it's
oh man,
Deadpool 2. It was great. Anyway, I'll probably do the same thing with the Avenger. I'll see when Adam comes back when he's back in town. He might be back in town now.
Is he? Our friend Adam has been doing odd jobs to make some money, and last I heard he was like stranded in New York or some crap like that. I don't know.
Did he get stranded down there?
I don't know. Probably. I'm making up a wild story. For all I know, he slept with homeless.
We have to cancel our D&D game.
I know, that's what I heard. So
I gotta respect that he was making some money. So
he was the hustle. The hustle's real.
Mm-hmm.
So. Endgame. We'll talk about it next week. More. Obviously, I don't want to talk more about it, even though I might have a lot of information in my head. Talking about it's silly. It comes out today's Tuesday. 2 more days.
By the time you watch this, it's going to be Wednesday.
So it'll be Endgame Eve, right?
Yeah. Endgame Eve. There you go.
So
Is there midnight showings Wednesday night, or are you?
No, Thursday's early. Thursday at 7 p.m. Remember when midnight showings were midnight on Thursday into Friday? Now they're like you can just buy primetime tickets the day before. I don't understand how that works, but okay.
Do you remember when Black Friday was on Friday?
Yeah.
Like it just keeps getting.
Now it's like a week early and a week after, right? Got to find a way to make more money.
My fist.
So another thing that I want to talk about, the Game of Thrones. Now, I'm not a watcher. I know. I'm behind by like 3 seasons.
3 seasons. Wow.
Yeah, man. But I am the cautious in this one, as in I have not watched any of them, but I have read every spoiler review after the episode airs, just to kind of.
Oh wow! I haven't even done that. I mean, I plan to eventually watch it, but I'm not watching it live.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for it all to be over and then find out how it ends and then go back and watch it and enjoy it that way. I don't know why that particular. You know what it is that series is a little violent and a little
rapey.
Rapey.
I don't want to. It's a little rapey.
It's a little rapey and violent. At least it was in the early seasons. I have talked to other individuals that have told me that it's not like that anymore because they've raped all that they can rape, and there's no one else to.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's a very good point. The people who were going to get raped have been raped,
or killed and raped, and so now the people that are left are like the big dogs. Yeah, they're the people that matter. So because assertion of power in that show is I will rape you, and then I take your power. And so I know it's horrible, but. That said, I can, now that I know where the scenes are or whatnot, I can go back and pick and choose or fast forward and know what happens and not
the cats have decided to attack me, I guess, right now. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, nice.
So if you're wondering, watching me, why is he fighting with something off screen? It's because both cats are in my room being like, hey, what's up? We're hungry or something? I don't know.
So that I want to talk about that a little bit. And since Marvel is ending, its 22 movie run, and the Game of Thrones is now ending this season. It's a six episode season, I think is all it is. And so we're 3 episodes in, or
3. Is it 3 now? Yeah, I guess.
3 or
2.
2.
No, 2. 2 was
2. So okay, we're almost halfway. So we're 1/3 away for the end. It's interesting.
What is everyone going to do? What is everyone going to obsess over?
Right. So that's one of what I talk about is us growing up as geeks. This type of stuff was always, the term I won't want to say it. I don't want to say closeted. I mean, but it was always one of those things that we watched it, but it was for us. And I'm not gatekeeping in any way. I feel like I always wanted other people to realize how amazing this stuff was. But it's weird to this day and age for like my kiddo and everyone and just everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. Everyone talks about either the next Marvel movie or Game of Thrones. And Game of Thrones, while is mainstream, it's on HBO and it's like action packed and high budget, it's still a show based around and it's something that I would have played in Sunday in a basement. Like it's still a D&D kind of game. Like it's fantasy.
You're like, yo, I got this new copy of Ice Pirates. Let's go.
Right. So yeah, we were just talking about that. Our friend online, who was it? Posted up a picture of Ice Pirates on their
Woody.
Woody. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Woody posted up a picture of Ice Pirates, a friend of ours. And some people didn't know who it was. And I was like, dude, that's Ice Pirates. It's Ice Pirates. And it was like, oh, it's a terrible movie. And I was like, no, that's a fantastic movie.
It's a terribly fantastic movie.
Terribly fantastic movie. But I guess what I'm getting at is movies, I have this conversation a lot with my wife that we can't have bad movies. Everything has to be epic. So a movie like that would still fail nowadays. But at the same time, some director would have taken that plot and made it epic in some way.
Let's just Jupiter Ascending, the Wachowskis. That was a movie. That was the Ice Pirates, but it wasn't. It wasn't loved. I don't know what was the matter with that film, but it did not.
But it had everything you wanted, right? Like take that movie, right? Look, let's. This is the argument I'm trying to make, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Take that movie. Transport that movie to 10-year-old Pedro.
I would have loved it, baby.
Your head would have exploded.
It had like a werewolf on a skateboard. Yeah,
it really. What? How awesome is that? Now, take that. Now, look back and look at the movies that we love. The movies that are cult classics. The movies that have like T-shirts printed nowadays. Goonies.
Sure.
They're cheesy, trashy movies. They're not great. We love them. We love them in our heart.
Yeah, but like Goonies, there was Goonies. There was
Teen Wolf.
What are they called? Teen Wolf, Ninja Kids. What are they called? Three Ninjas?
Surf Ninjas, Three Ninjas, Surf Ninjas.
And with Tum Tum, you remember them, right? With
the Ninjas? Three Ninjas. Yeah,
Three Ninjas, that's what
there was 3 movies of them.
Kids. There was like a little like, every 5 to 8 years there was one of those movies that were Goonies, like where these kids went on an adventure and did the ridiculous thing.
Right, and that's fine. It's not the kid. Well, I mean, the Stranger Things is pretty much a whole talk about
Stranger Things, except my kids can't watch Stranger Things.
No.
Watch Goonies and Three Ninjas
because it's not for us. Right. I mean, I'm sorry. Goonies wasn't for our age range then. It was for us when we were younger. We have now grown up, and we just want to watch Goonies for us.
Stranger Things, right?
So they've taken the formula that is Goonies and made it adult for the people that watched Goonies.
It's a good formula. I mean,
no, it is a great formula. I love it. I'm just my point is that movies like that don't make it nowadays unless they're marketed towards the kids or they're made for nostalgia purposes. As in, again, Stranger Things is something that's made like Goonies, but they could never make it as a cheesy Disney movie. It would be a Disney PG movie nowadays if it was.
I think I'm with you. I think it's an interesting Hollywood dilemma, right? Like a movie like Goonies made now would be too expensive for any studio to make because they have to do so much, right? So like
either that or it would have such a low budget that it would be out one weekend.
It'd be on Netflix. I mean, that's where it'd be on Amazon. It'd be on a separate network, right? They could do it on their own. It'd be HBO, right? That's where these shows go now, or these movie ideas or these concepts. Stranger Things would have been. No one would have taken a chance on Stranger Things
as a movie.
Yeah, no one would have. That would have been a movie. That was E.T., right? That would have been a movie for you to watch, and that's or maybe 3 movies over time, right? But that's not going to get made back then in that format. Now, of course, it's
now we have multiple ways we can watch things like Showtime, HBO, Netflix, Hulu,
anytime we want,
at the pace that we want.
Dude, I think the date movie's gone.
Yeah,
like you're taking you. I mean, you go out with C all the time.
That's it.
The date movie's gone. You used to be able to go and catch like the cheesy romantic comedy on and they're just not there anymore. There's the Will Ferrell, Amy Poehler films, and those come out once a year. They
do come out, but they're not even that good. They're not even worth it. You don't want to spend $20 per person to go buy a ticket to go. It's not worth it. So my wife came at me about that about a year ago.
Of course she did, because you drag her to comic book movies. That's all you do for date nights.
Well, she's like, hey, we don't go on date movies. We just go see comic book movies. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But love, like, do you want to go spend $20 on random movie? I was like, you pick a movie and tell me you want to go. She's like, no. I'm like, well, pick the movie. Is it out? She's like, no. I'm like, well, no.
You're not going to see this argument, Joe.
She's like, I don't want to watch it. But when she does want to watch it, she wants to watch it in bed with a cup of coffee, chilling. So I'm like, yeah, that's a chill in bed movie, which means that I either buy it or rent it or whatever, off of Amazon or Netflix, and we don't spend $40 in our date night and a babysitter to go see it. But you will go see a comic book movie because you know that I enjoy them on the big screen, and she enjoys them on the big screen too. So she's not even going to lie to me about that. As a matter of fact, the other night, like I said, we hadn't seen Ant-Man and Wasp, and I was like, it's on Netflix, and I'm like, hey, you want to watch it? We're in bed. Let's just pop it on. And she's like, don't you want to watch it on the big TV? That's a big TV movie. And I'm like, a big TV movie. Like all the other movies are big theater movies.
How often do you sleep on the couch, Joe?
Not once. Not once. Especially since I bought a new bed.
Unbelievable. No, I'm with you. I mean, like, I've had that same discussion with my partner, and then I'm like, listen, if we're gonna do this, it's an expensive endeavor, and all the families out there, all the parents out there know this. Like, going to the movies is a thing, unless you've got grandparents or built-in babysitters. It's an expensive trip,
right?
And even if you don't, it's still pricey.
It's still an expensive trip. You're not going to go out. You're not going to spend a night out and just like half-ass it. You're going to take advantage of it. So what you do is you go to dinner, and dinner is minimum $40-$50, depending on where you go. So that's $50.
$100 night, easy.
$100 night without even trying, without blinking. and that's not including popcorn and dessert and whatever else. So like it could easily climb up to 120, 130. I've done it. It happens, and that's a date night.
Yeah, it's how I get her to go see movies like Alita: Battle Angel. We saw City of Valeria in the movie theater because that's a big screen movie.
Yeah,
but like that's another film that like you were talking about. We're talking about Ice Pirates. We're talking about Arena. We're talking about the trashy cult films. That should be a trashy. It could have been like a Fifth Element. It just didn't. It didn't quite gel.
But we can't have Fifth Elements anymore. That's what I'm getting at. Is Fifth Element came out right at the end of that acceptance of bad sci-fi. But you can't have cheesy bad sci-fi now at the theater. That's either Netflix.
I mean, we have TV.
What do we have? What?
We had Hellboy. Those are cheesy sci-fi flicks.
Yeah, but how is that doing? How did those do at the theater?
Well, I mean, one did all right enough to warrant a sequel, and Hellboy did all right enough to warrant a sequel. Part 2 didn't warrant part 3, sadly.
Well, Hellboy. You're talking about Hellboy part 1 and 2. We're talking about the new Hellboy.
That all accounts I'm hearing is that did do well because it was kind of a train wreck of a film, right?
Right, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, we knew that was going to fail. It was already destined to fail in the fact that fans wanted more of what we already had. You decided to reboot a franchise way too early. You changed the tone. You changed the director. But yet you risked it at theaters anyway, as opposed to just if you had that money, whatever studio put it out there, they should have just went, hey, why don't we just make this like a HBO show? Let's do like a 3-part Hellboy series, same budget, but then people talk. Right, like Netflix. Like perfect example is like the Disney ones, the Disney Marvel shows that were on Netflix, like Luke Cage and whatnot. Daredevil, that was an idea that we're like, hey, let's put Daredevil back in the theater. They're like, no, that character just doesn't play anymore with some of the big guys. But let's take that idea and let's form a whole season of a show, a 13-episode TV show on Netflix. Okay, Hellboy. Instead of dumping $200 million on special effects and whatnot, let's dump $200 million and make a 6-part Netflix episode, and have people go watch it there, and then people will talk about it, and then we'll get a 2nd and 3rd season out of it.
I'm with you there. I'm with you. It was a weird decision, I think. Hellboy especially was a very odd decision because it's such big shoes to follow. It's like making a new Lord of the Rings now, right? Like those
too soon.
Shoes. I don't know.
The only characters that are allowed to get that and still do big are Batman and Spider-Man.
Oh, dude.
They're just the two franchises.
It's weird that they can be rebooted so often. Like, not even Superman can be rebooted that often.
No, they won't allow it. They're like, where's my Christopher Reeves? It ain't my Superman. He kills.
It's true. But let me see. I feel like I'm just going to pitch movies at you for giggles.
I'm just trying to find the one movie at the theater that was mediocre enough that was now cult-liked after Fifth Element.
After Fifth Element?
Yeah, man. Like, think about the sci-fi genre in general. Everything after Fifth Element was like Lord of the Rings territory. So it was sci-fi that was big budget, Harry Potter's. And then other movies tried to follow Harry Potter, like Golden Compass. Remember that movie? Right. But that was a movie that was supposed to be, the next Harry Potter. We're taking the same formula. But they didn't.
That was a CGI train wreck. I mean,
right. Because it was the first of the movie that got not the big.
It's funny. All the things that keep popping into my head are TV series. The Expanse, Battlestar Galactica. Like, all the things that keep popping in my head are just
it's because we've learned that these TV shows make more money in the long run for them. They're able to tell the long, encompassing sci-fi story because sci-fi is long and drawn out.
It doesn't have to be. I mean, you could tell
it doesn't.
In a short.
You're right. Look at Fifth Element.
Which is on Netflix, everybody. Watch it. If you've never seen Fifth Element, it is amazing.
We go to see that at the big theater once every couple of years when it gets put up there. Like
any chance I get to see it. It's
amazing. The Alamo Drafthouse does it. I think Phantom Events does occasionally put it up there. They're like, for an anniversary, or it was the 10th anniversary or to 15th or whatever this past year. I can't remember how many years ago. It's a long time ago now.
Yeah, 15.
But it's a movie that's quotable. It's kooky. It's really cheaply done. You can tell. I mean, for God's sakes, my favorite part that always gets me is when they're about to lift off, and you got the Rastafarian dudes smoking, and they're like cleaning with the flamethrower, and these like aliens fall out of the like barnacles or whatever, fall off, and they're like shaking on the ground. They're just the bumble balls.
Yep.
It's like they're just spray painted bumble balls, like the little kid toy that are just like.
I mean, the hand grenade that he throws up is like a mag light with the plastic over, with like styrofoam, painted styrofoam over.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all cheaply done.
Budget prop film. It's cheap.
That movie has Gary Oldman in it.
I mean, Gary Oldman, he's never seen a role. He's
never seen a role. He's never
seen a role like that before. Before or after?
This like weird Southern accent in this movie. It's so good. Like,
I mean, I know that song is something I have said a million times. I know that song.
Yeah.
Let me change the tune, right? Like, come on.
Again, cult classic. But again, I reemphasize, we haven't had a movie like that at the theater that is that low budget, that off the wall, not based off a comic, just random. The same director has tried multiple times. I mean, that's what Valerian was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Fifth Element.
There's too much CGI in that one, in fact. But I mean, have you seen
same director, Luc Benson?
Have you seen it?
Luc Besson? Luc Besson?
Besson, yeah.
Besson, you gotta say it.
Have you seen
I have not, but I want to see it.
See City Valeria. You'll be like, man, that movie could have been good if the two main actors had any chemistry at all. And that's one of the important things of Fifth Element, right? There's chemistry.
And that's what's hard to say, because Bruce Willis.
How about Resident Evil?
But it's based on a video game.
It is, but it's a cult movie.
It is, but it's based on a video game. So, like,
I mean, in fact, they only stopped making them because the director said, "I'm going to stop making them."
His wife was tired. His wife is in the movie. She's like, "Do you want to make another badass movie? I don't know. Do we need another yacht? Okay, let's make another movie." Like,
I don't even think they're buying yachts with this money.
Oh, right? Dude, they make tons of. The studio has to pay them so much money to crank out another one. I mean,
I'm saying. Resident Evil, maybe. I don't know that anything has the fandom.
No, nothing. I don't. Resident Evil. I can't even count it because it's based on this
because we're older, and right now we're dominating the culture.
Right, we are.
We're dominating the culture, so I don't want to make any assumptions. But there might be some 20-year-olds, and if there's anybody who follows, if you're out there. They have a cult movie that we're not aware of because we're 40.
Oh, please tell us. Let me find it. Let me watch it. I want to watch it.
And they might also prove us out. They might be like, "Have you seen Altered Carbon? That's dope." You know, like they might be. They might just prove us out by mentioning that. Hey, yeah, we watched the Netflix Stranger Things.
So that's my challenge to anyone who is watching this. I'm issuing a challenge. Give me the name of a movie that came out after Fifth Element. That is a sci-fi movie that I can enjoy, maybe not to that nature, but that is not based off of an already book or comic book or a video game.
That is not Jupiter Ascending.
That is not Jupiter Ascending or City of Valerian.
We want it to be an enjoyable film.
Right. Both of those movies we know, they both tried. They were both sold to us as like a sci-fi movie that we haven't heard anything of. It's cinematic alone.
Yeah, there was Battle Angel, Alita. There's been some live action conversions.
I know
you're looking specifically for a new sci-fi franchise. Pacific Rim was one of them. I think Pacific Rim fits your criteria.
It does a little bit.
Pacific Rim, but it is a well-known director, right? Which
and again, if we want to play, I could also call out my own mistakes here, like Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth, though, but that's so much denser than
it is.
Element.
It is, but it is based off nothing but a story and the director's work, right? Like, that's what I'm looking for. I want more movies like that because Hollywood does not give it a chance anymore. All we get are remakes or based on comic books. And I love that. As a guy growing up loving comic books, all I ever wanted to see was those characters.
There's nothing wrong with it, but I think that these big budget, huge blockbusters have sort of cleared the brush. There's no space for it's just these giant dinosaurs eating up everything, and there's no space for anything really to move on the big screen.
Right.
Especially since the big screen. I mean, like, it's weird when a movie can make like $300 million and people think it's a flop, right? Like, it's weird to me. That, like,
right. So a good example is Shazam is the #1 box office movie right now. And but there's very little hype about it. Like, you don't hear many people talking about it.
I mean, like, I've seen some hype that's like, it's the best DC comic book movie that they've made. It's a good Superman film. Like, everyone is really
90% Rotten Tomatoes. I fucking hate Rotten Tomatoes. I hate everything it stands for. It's ruined. But 90% Rotten Tomatoes, 7.6 on IMDb. Let's look at the box office numbers real quick. I just want to see what it's made, because it interests me that this is also a movie that.
And you've seen it, right? You enjoyed it.
I've seen it. I enjoyed it, and I loved it. But again, it's based off of a comic book, and that's good. But it's also the franchise
doesn't fit your criteria. I get it.
Box office numbers. Let's take a look here. Box Office Mojo. What has it made so far? It's a total domestic. It's only made $122 million, and it's been out since April 5th, though.
$122 million is an enormous amount of money.
It is. I agree with you, but it's no longer anything to.
I know. If it's not $400 million, it's a bust.
The production cost was $100 million, so it's only $22 million above its production budget. Now, mind you, they've already greenlit a second movie, or because of the hype, so they know they're going to make it. I don't know what's the worldwide. That's the number. So
my buddy told me it's a wholesome Deadpool.
It is.
That's the
yeah, that's a proper way of saying it. It's a wholesome, because it's off the wall, zany, like a lot of pop culture reference, making fun of its own universe. Like they make fun of Batman and Superman and all of Justice League,
which is what Deadpool does all day long.
Right, all day long. And so it's worldwide $323 million, so $201 million foreign. So it's made more than domestic.
And they're all like, it's a failure.
It's not a failure, but it's definitely not. It's good numbers for a character that isn't a flagship, right?
Sure.
If this had been a Batman movie and it made this much, they would have just canned the whole franchise.
They would have rebooted it in a year.
Yeah,
they would have regrouped and rebooted.
Regrouped and reboot. Right.
Well, okay, all right. I need to think about this, because I feel like I've seen a lot of science fiction, but it might be that I've seen it all on Netflix or Amazon or other places. And a lot of it about AIs, right? So like Singularity and things like that, I feel like they don't fit the Fifth Element criteria. I think.
They don't. I mean, they're fun, but Fifth Element it's one of the perfect movies, really. It really is.
Yeah, no, it's perfect, and it's memeable. I mean, even Starship Troopers has gotten sort of a heyday of re-memeable images from the film. So
yeah, but that's based off a book, sort of, kind of. It's because
definitely based off a book, in that they took the title Starship Troopers and they put it on.
But everything else after that is not the movie, it's not the book, guys. So.
Well, there's troopers in there and Star and there's ships and they fight bugs.
There you go. Same thing. Yeah, man. So yeah, and guys, we live in a golden age, an age that we can actually sit down and talk about this kind of stuff and say, man, it's not enough. And it really, my kids. We talk about this a lot, is everything they watch on Netflix and stuff from 20 years ago. Like, my kiddos watch all these old franchises. Everything's rebooted. Everything's remade. Cartoons like Voltron and She-Ra, and, everything else has been remade. And Carmen Sandiego, they've got their own versions of it. And I love it. I love everything about it. I love my kiddos watching that stuff and then telling me, Daddy, my kid likes to say, is this classic Ninja Turtles or is this regular? And I'm like, no, this is the new stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay.
This is yours.
That classic Sonic or is that new Sonic? I'm like, no, well, he's in from the new game, so that's not.
I haven't heard anything about Sonic in a long time. What's the Sonic news?
We haven't. I know we are the Sonic station here, but we haven't. They've been. I don't know, man. They went back.
For the viewers that care about the Sonic updates, probably once a week I'll do a search for Sonic news, and I don't really see anything coming up.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
It's like a news blackout since that last week where they're like, oh, shit.
Dude, what if Sonic the Hedgehog trailer is attached to Endgame?
I might go see it then. Just tell me. Don't tell me about the trailer. Just tell me if it's there.
If Tails shows up.
I don't want the trailer spoiled. That's how crazy I'm getting about Sonic.
Oh man,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what else we're talking about. Another big news thing that happened this weekend, and we want to talk about this because it referenced my kids specifically, is the Game Boy. The Game Boy, its official birthday was the 21st. It is 30 years old. It is middle age. Wow. Where would we be without the Game Boy? Let's talk about that for a second.
I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like anything I say would be obvious, right? Casual gaming and mobile gaming would not be where it was without the Game Boy. Right? No Tetris. Tetris was.
Man, talk about a killer app.
Yeah, Tetris was the
it was game. Packaged in the box, first off. So it's one of the if you look at the numbers, it's actually one of the highest selling video games ever, only because it was a packaged game with every game.
Yeah. It was. I mean, my mom had her own, and would play it at work, right? Because she worked on the trains, and she had all this downtime. She played it there. And the batteries were awesome. I mean, we weren't allowed to touch her Game Boy, right? She had her own.
That's awesome.
The minute they released a color she liked, she went and bought that one, and she gave us her old one. So, like, it's just, I'm sure if I asked her, she probably either sold her old one or is still somewhere around. I mean, it's 30 years old is insane, and it's still like it brings back such fond memories.
It does.
That game.
I mean, I don't.
It's like the perfect commuter device. Like every time I was on the train to school or the bus to school, it was just fantastic. The Game Boy, I loved it.
Man, yeah, I still have mine, or my dad has mine, my original one. My dad has my original one. He used to play it a lot more than I did. After a while, he still played older games on it, Tetris and all that. My grandfather had one till the day he died. He loved Tetris. That was his
jam.
That was his jam. So he loved his Game Boy. Yeah, I've got fond memories of traveling with it. I remember my favorite thing about it was accessories for it. The zany, ludicrous.
Like you'd buy a huge suitcase to carry all the accessories.
Things, yeah.
Your little Game Boy.
Did you have any random accessories for your Game Boy? I feel like I want to mention that because that was.
I had the flashlight, the thing you can loop, and I had a magnifier, but I only used it like 3 times. Like I got.
So was it the light with the magnifier, or was it a magnifier?
I'm sure I had both. Like I think the magnifier definitely came with the light.
So was it the one that would clip onto the top, like click, and then it would fold down, and then
that's exactly right.
Big switch had an old battery, his own battery. So. Yeah, that's man.
And that was ludicrous because it was the size of the Game Boy.
Right, but if you played with the magnifying, it made your screen bigger. Like, even though it hurt you slightly.
Like a quarter, and like if you looked at it from the wrong angle, you missed your jump. Like it wasn't like really. They should have just given you a cable to plug into your television, right?
That was not yet. We didn't have that yet. What would you say was your favorite game on the old Game Boy? Not Game Boy Color, not Game Boy Advance, but old gray cartridge. Click, ding.
That's a really tough one. I'm trying to. Was Dr. Mario on the old one?
Yeah.
The black and white? I would say that's the one I probably played the most.
Yeah, there was a Dr. Mario. And what was fun about that one was because they released it on the regular Nintendo and the Game Boy right around the same time. So it was 2 versions of the game. But the one for the regular Game Boy came out before the Game Boy Color. So when you played it on Nintendo, on the actual system, there was 3 colors, yellow, blue, and red. That's how you played it. But then you had to like shades of gray.
It was shades of gray with like a pattern. One of them had like a pattern in it. Yeah. It was like white, gray, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was...
I played the hell out of that one. I mean, I feel like I played a ton of like role-playing games. I'm sure like the JRPGs on there, but I can't for the life of me remember any of them.
There was a Final Fantasy one on there. Final Fantasy Adventure, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, maybe I don't. I'm merging up the ones that I played on the Color.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But definitely played a lot of Zeldas and a lot of just a ton of those old.
So my memories of that were, of course, Tetris. I played Tetris still, forever because it was the package.
Oh yeah, Tetris. I mean, I didn't feel like I should say Tetris.
No, you don't have to. The game that I remember playing one of the most. There were 2 games I played the most. One, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Fall of the Foot Clan, I think it was called.
Was that on the black and white?
Yeah, it was black and white. Fall of the Foot Clan was on the black and white, and I played that a lot. It was Konami, and I remember that you could you had one shot. If you played the game, you had a life bar, and you picked your turtle, and then you'd have a 4. If you died, you'd lose the turtle, and you wouldn't get him back. So then you had 3, 2, 1, whatever. But you could as you're playing,
you could find them tied up somewhere or something like that.
Yeah. And then you get them. Yeah. And then when you get them, you had a full life bar, but then if you die, there was health you could pick up, but if there was a cheat code, and the cheat code was the Konami code. If you were about to die, you hold pause, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start. It would reset your life, and you only get that once.
I remember that.
So that was that, and then the big one that I played, and the biggest memory I have was Link's Awakening on Game Boy. That was one of the first major Zelda games that I played on.
That was black and white.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
I went straight to the colors links. I didn't play any.
So you might have played the same game, but they released Link's Awakening DX, is what it was called. It was a black cartridge. Black cartridge. You play that on a Game Boy Color, and it was not a remake. It was just a colorized version of the game, plus 1 extra dungeon.
Ah. Classic Nintendo.
Yeah. So it was the only time they ever did like a DLC or a re-release of a game early on.
You can't call it DLC. That's no.
Yeah. No,
because it was a re-release with bonus content.
Bonus content, yeah. That version of the game, I played the original one without the color on my original Game Boy. I remember going to visit my cousins in Mexico, south, and they had a neighbor, and the neighbor had her grandson was visiting from France. So he was our age. So we were there. I was there from the U.S. visiting my cousins, and she had her grandson there. So we were all playing, in the streets for like a month. They kind of just threw us to Mexico for a month for the summer, and he had a Game Boy and I had a Game Boy, but of course his Game Boy games were in French. And he had a copy of Link's Awakening, and I never played it. So I played it, and I beat it that summer in French. So I had no idea what the story was, but I went through and beat that game in French.
So the minute you got home, you opened that Nintendo Power, and you're like, I need to read this story.
Yeah, I was like, what happened here? What was going on? So, yeah. So the memory of that is playing it and not learning French as well, because I would play it. I'm like, what is it saying? And eventually I'd get stuck, and I'd be like, hey, what word is this? And then I would ask in Spanish to my cousins, and he didn't know Spanish, but he just spoke in French. So it was also a summer of like learning barriers. Like he didn't know how to speak, so he was like and that's where I like learned like
gaming brings people together.
Right. So it was a fun moment, because I'll always remember playing this game in a different language, but I also remembered certain words, and the instant connotation to that word immediately goes to like Link. So that's awesome. I learned the word cake in French, gâteau.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I learned that one because there was a point in the game where there was a cake, and I was like, "What?" Yeah. So yeah, and
it doesn't even sound like cake.
I know it doesn't sound like cake. It sounds like cat in Spanish.
It does.
Gato. So it was always funny.
Chat in French is for cat. Chat.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was my Game Boy story. My kids have gotten a hold of my Game Boy, my original Game Boy, recently.
You have to play with it out of the packaging?
Oh yeah, man. You know me. I gotta have them all out. And so I've got a red version of the original one. It's kind of their second edition, the one that is released in colors, but not in color.
Is it hacked with all the games, Joe?
Yes. It has an EverDrive in it, but I actually don't let them play with the EverDrive because they don't get to focus on one game. So what I'll do is I dropped Super Mario Land in there.
Good choice.
And let them play it, and they are baffled. They are just like, what is this? Why can't I see in color? What's going on? Why is it black and white? Daddy, is this old school? I don't get it. But you know what? It doesn't matter. They might complain a little bit, but they still were like, jamming out to it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Transcending time for sure.
My poor kid doesn't get to play any old school games because
you throw them away and roll them away.
Throw them away. I give them to you.
You give them to me. That's right.
Come on. Well, my other brother Jay got it as well, so I gave it to him. Gave a bunch of stuff to him as well. Yeah,
so 30 years, guys. Where would we be without the Game Boy? I mean, our handheld gaming, like you said. I mean, the Nintendo Switch. Look at it. It's a handheld system now.
I mean, it was like Game Boy, Game Gear. There was a little Game Gear for a little while. Game Boy Color was out there. DS. I mean, gaming. I mean, I remember. Do you remember when you could attach two game? Was it two Game Boys together? Was like a
link cable. Yeah, link cable. That's how you traded Pokemon. I was like, well, that's how you traded Pokemon. And when the game Pokemon came out, but Red and Blue, those games came out before the Game Boy Color.
I think I played the shit out of Pokemon too.
Was
that in color? That was in color.
Well, the green came out in color and a couple of, but red and blue, the original ones, the original two, and yellow. Well, yellow was actually the first one in color. Actually,
that was black and white, right?
Yeah, they were black and white. So you played red.
That's one of the games I probably played the hell out of.
Yeah.
Come on, cats. Get
That's all right.
Cats. Driving me crazy.
It's not all right.
They don't belong on my desk.
It belong on my desk.
It's like 3 places they don't belong, and that's the only place they want to be on. Anyway, so the link. And
trading Pokemon. I mean, now everything's wireless, everything's online, but that was the way. The one game I always coveted to play, and I never got to play it. There was a game on the original Game Boy where it required the attachment. It was an F1 racing game, and it was a way that you'd play with 4 players, and there was a link cable hub thing that you got the game, and so you'd plug in, and then other people would plug in, and so it was a way to play 4 players. And I always
it was the console LAN party before console LAN party.
Right, handheld. But yeah, man, the Game Boy.
Was it Final Fantasy Crystal?
That was with Game Boy Advance, and yes,
you plug in 4 players.
Crystal Chronicles, 4 players.
That's it.
On GameCube.
I only ever got two people with their Game Boys to show.
Oh my God,
I never got a 4-player game in.
Yeah,
and it was sweet because all your stuff was like.
Well, it was the beginning of something that we knew we wanted later on. Like
good
here you had
about the Wii.
Control the game. Wii, right? It was you play the game here, then you'd go on the screen, you'd have your inventory and your HP and all of that on your screen. But then one of my favorite things about that game, and even the follow up to that, which was Legend of Zelda 4 Swords. That also was the same thing. You'd plug the Game Boy into the GameCube and all that. But there were bits of the map that you'd play on. All 4 of you would play, but then if you'd walk into a cave, when you would walk into a cave, the cave would be on your controller.
Yeah.
So all the rest of the players are still outside of the cave, but you're over here.
So you're not splitting the party. You don't
right. And then you walk out of the cave and you show back up on the main TV.
That was great.
Yeah, man. So good. The Game Boy. I mean, where would we be game-wise without it? I mean,
it's crazy. So 30 years, thanks. I feel like we're always thinking Nintendo because you're such a fanboy, but they really changed the way console gaming, and they're pretty much all gaming.
All gaming came into play.
Same without them.
So last major story I want to talk about, and just because I don't think we have anything personal to talk about, right? Do you have anything personal?
Updates. My D&D dropped out, so that's the week.
That's the week for us, and D&D hasn't started up for me. Mortal Kombat 11 launched today. Today was the launch day, Tuesday, and I'm hearing good things. It's phenomenal. If you're a big Mortal Kombat fan, go follow us on Facebook if you haven't. I posted up an article by GameSpot. I think they put up a whole great write-up on the story of Mortal Kombat.
I started it, and I was like, I ain't got time for this.
Yeah, it's because I played most of them, and then there was a few of them that I didn't play, and that's where I was lost. So I
think I played 1, 2, and 10. I don't think I played anything in between.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, the ones that we knew were old school console, right? So you had Genesis, Super Nintendo for 1, 2, and 3. Then 4 came out on the N64, and then Dreamcast, and I think they released 4 maybe later on PlayStation.
Am I imagining that Mortal Kombat wasn't it an arcade game?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right.
So part 1, 2, and 3 were arcade machines, and then after that it went console because it was just the arcade machines were dead.
I remember that visceral feeling of watching someone pull off that first fatality.
Oh my God!
What the heck?
Yeah. What? Ripped out his spine.
This is pre-internet, right? So how did the information even get disseminated on how? Like I imagine like text ASCIIs, like you had to be on the bulletin boards to get this information. Like how did you even? To this day I don't know how people figured out how to do those fatalities on the arcade machines. I just don't.
I remember I pulled off my first fatality. because I decided to do the fatality of another character with a character, and it worked. And it was like, holy shit. And it was one of those moments where you beat the character. And a fatality was the ultimate rub your nose in it.
Oh, yeah. No, it was the most vicious of all taunts. It was the worst.
Yeah, no, it was totally.
But at the same time, like, if you'd never seen one before, and I don't know, Raiden would do his like electricity fatality on you, you'd still be like, you'd be taunted, but also you'd be like, damn, I never seen this one before. That's dope. And then they had the friendalities and the
friendship, the babalities, the animalities,
they had all these like ridiculous
the brutalities later on.
The brutalities, that's right.
Yeah, those are fun.
So anyway, Mortal Kombat 11. It looks ridiculous. First,
gory as all hell, but
it's ridiculous.
From the reviews, and again, guys, go read. I'm just regurgitating stuff that I read online. Is that it's got a fantastic story mode, like a really good story arc. Like NetherRealm, the company that makes it, has been pretty good at that recently. I mean, they did Injustice 2. They did the last few Mortal Kombats, and people have been enjoying those story modes a lot.
I've seen a bunch of videos, like cutscenes online for maybe 10 I saw.
Yeah, so 9 and 10 were 360, and then 10 was Xbox. 10 was Xbox 360, I think, and then this is the first one in the new gen consoles, I think. No. 10 was Xbox One as well. Yeah. But this is the new engine, and it looks better, and it's neat. It's neat. It's a pretty good looking engine. And they've learned a lot because they did Injustice 2, which was a phenomenal game and a big following online and whatnot. So
I always, there's like two kinds of comments on every Injustice thing I see. It's that game is the worst, and that game was fun and great. Like it's just like there's never anybody being like,
it's just not like it's all right.
But most of the time, the people who say the game was worse are folks who are like our comic book fans, are like hardcore comic book fans who are upset with the world that Injustice put together.
That's me.
Or they're hardcore comic book fans that love the world that Injustice put together and wish it was all over the place, right?
Yeah. I'm a little bit of both sides. I think what they did with a game is fantastic. Without me going onto a soapbox in any way, shape, or form, Injustice is a fantastic.
Let's do your next rant.
Well, my next episode, maybe I'll do that. We'll talk about that on my next. If you haven't noticed, there is an episode called we've been doing Mini Crisis, little rants and raves episodes, maybe 20, 30 minutes long. Just me or Pedro, depending on if he wants to do one. Jump out a topic where we talk about and just kind of dive deep on that one topic. But the Injustice.
We might have to do one for City of Heroes.
Yeah, man, that's going to be a good one.
Let's record one this week and put it up there.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll do that. It's a good. We've got a story that we want to touch base on, but we don't have enough time. City of Heroes. If you guys have played that MMO, there's a great story out on it right now, and I'll link on it. We'll talk about it. There'll be an episode to go up before the end of the week on that.
Let's do a mini.
But yeah, Injustice 2 had if you don't follow, it's kind of a gruesome, dark version of the DC universe, like even darker than, I mean, a lot of deaths, a lot of characters get killed, and I mean, it's the Mortal Kombat guys, right? That you gave them the license to go into this brutal world. And this is the first and second one. I mean, the first one had a good story. The second one had an even better story. But me as a Superman fan, it drives me nuts that people love Injustice, and when I hear people say comments like you said a minute ago, where they say that they wish that's how the comic book world was, I'm like, dude, that's not how you really want that. Like, that's not the character of Superman is villainonly.
It's always a post comment from Chaos Edgelord 500, though. I mean,
right. Like, Superman is the only relevant good story Superman's ever done is when he's a bad guy. I'm like, dude, no.
And I mean, but did you like the whole point of comics are lost on you? Beat it, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you think that the only interesting story is like the heroic guy turning bad is the only interesting thing about that character, then the whole concept of comic books is completely lost on you for sure. Like the superhero comic genre is not what you're looking for.
What you're looking for is Endgame.
Yeah.
To bring it back to the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we didn't want to go off on a tangent on this, right?
No. But yeah, anywho, they wrote a great story for the new Mortal Kombat. Go check it out. Yeah. I think that's it. That's all we got for this week.
So again, like us, follow us, love us, hate us. Let us know if you enjoyed Endgame. We can chat about it. Joe's probably going to put up his review, his little 2-sentence review. He'll text me a message, and I'll be like, who cares? And then we'll fight about it for 3 days. It's going to be great. You guys should read our text messages. They're always fun. Or if, again, this sci-fi movie challenge, I think let's post this challenge up on our Facebook so we can
let's do it. Let's do it. You want to pen it? Go for it. Throw it up there.
I'll put it together because I'd love to see if folks
I'm also a big fan of people doing that. My wife did something sort of like this last week where she posted, she was like, what's your favorite 80s song? Go. And she didn't put any rules on it, but behind the scenes she was like, saying Madonna, anything by Madonna or Prince or Michael Jackson is just it's too easy. Like they transcend genres, they transcend decades. So to say anything out of those as an 80s song was kind of silly. But I mean, whatever. If you think of 80s, you think of Madonna, that's fine. But I think that there's other songs that were 80s and only 80s.
I'm surprised there was so much. I mean, Run DMC. I was surprised there was so much AHA fans out there. I was like, what, really? It was like, get so much play on MTV. What's going on there?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is us aging ourselves. But I would like to hear your sci-fi movies if you're up there. Let's look a little challenge because I'm curious. Maybe we're missing it because we're old dudes. We could have missed them.
I want to see a list. I want to see a big, thick list of movies and be like, wow, yeah, those are movies that I've never heard of. But
I never considered them as cult films. I immediately dismissed them. Maybe we need to have our eye opened, right?
Yeah, we need to be woke.
We need to realize that we're old men.
Third eye.
We may have missed what's going on there. So
yeah, guys. So yeah, again, like, subscribe, share. Music by Heretofore.
You got it. Oh,
all right, episode 26 in the can, guys. Enjoy. Have a good one.
Thanks.